Hello, can we please talk about UFC Vegas 57? It's going to be headlined by Gamrot versus Sarukian, or Sarukian versus Gamrot. So Arman Sarukian versus Mateusz Gamrot. That's a really good fight. Both of those guys are absolute killers in the already stacked 155-pound weight division. I'm going to be going through that card, just picking out 3 fights that I think jump out of the page for me for either bets that I want to place or just interesting fights. Looking at the fighters, what they do well, what they don't do well. Most of these guys are good fighters. They do most things well. Real talk. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going to be going through those and then seeing what long odds, stupid bets that I can put on just for my MMA scratch card. Basically, I treat it like a scratch card. I put them together onto one accumulator, and it's like having a scratch card, but you get to see people punch each other in the face whilst you're scratching it off. What could be better than that? So let's get started with the Burt Locker Fights in 15 for UFC Vegas 57. We're going to start off in the 170-pound division because this is a fight that I'm really interested in because it could be putting one Shavkat Rakhmonov on the map. Not that he isn't already somewhat on the map. People that follow mixed martial arts know who Shavkat Rakhmonov is. He's just dangerous. He is such a dangerous guy. He's basically like a Khamzat Chimaev, only he's flown under the radar a little bit. He hasn't had that Khamzat hype, but he is just as dangerous, if not more. Like, believe that. He is so good. He's from Uzbekistan, fights out of Kazakhstan top team. Yeah, he just runs through people. Right? He's been taken to the 3rd round once in his entire career. He has 15-0, 15 finishes. That's crazy. That is, and this is, we've seen that he's great at submissions. Obviously, he's from that part of the world. He's got fantastic takedowns. His grappling from the body lock is just sensational. He's got great trips. He controls on the ground brilliantly. Submissions are fantastic. Look, but he's also got great stand-up as well. His kickboxing is really good. His spinning attacks are fantastic. We saw his spinning attacks when he fought his last fight. Who the hell did he fight? He fought someone. But he got the knockout in his last fight. I'm sure he did. I completely forgotten who the hell it was that he knocked out. But either way, yeah, he did. Yeah, he got him with like a spinning back hook kick and then finished him on the ground. Either way, that his kickboxing looks sensational. So it's not just you've got to worry about the wrestling with this dude. You've got to worry about everything. And he's so calm and collective. He is like the Terminator. He goes in there, he takes his time, he gets the job done. That being said, Neil Magny is a big step up in competition. You look at Rakhmonov's record, he hasn't fought anybody in the realms of Neil Magny. Neil Magny is legitimately so good. He's just an all-rounder. Excellent cardio. He often pushes a pace that his opponents can't keep up with. That's how he usually gets the job done. Now, the only problem is we haven't seen evidence of Rakhmonov slowing down. He doesn't seem to slow down, not really. He just seems to keep going. And like I said, he goes in there and he either submits you or he knocks you out. So, look, for me, it has to be. I like Neil Magny. I rate Neil Magny. I really do. Neil Magny, he is really good in his own right. You got to watch out. Well, the things you got to watch out for with Neil Magny, he fights long really well. His gas tank is brilliant. He pushes a pace. His front kicks are very good. See here, I think I've got a clip of a picture of the front kick. But the front kick he uses to keep range is really good, and he's a legitimate all-round threat. He can wrestle as well, as good as anyone. Neil Magny has been around as well. In terms of fight experience, it's kind of ridiculous. I can't even remember what Neil Magny's record is, but he's 26-8. That's he's got more than double the MMA fight experience than Rakhmonov has, and that could easily play into this one. But the problem here is I don't see any area that Neil Magny is necessarily better than Rakhmonov. Rakhmonov, as I said, wrestling, He's very, very dangerous. But also striking, the way he strikes is really fun to watch. I would recommend going back and watching Rakhmonov's back catalogue, particularly his last fight where he won by knockout. You just see how he glides in and out effortlessly, like he's floating. Like it doesn't look like he's moving that quickly, but he's just always out of the way, just glides like a ghost. And then boom, like when he decides to spin, he just goes for it and he gets those spinning attacks. It's really sensational to watch. For me, this is Rakhmonov gonna get the finish. Now, KO or submission, it's a toss-up because at the moment he currently has 8 knockouts and 7 submissions. So in my mind, I feel like he's gonna try and even that up because he looks like a man who enjoys symmetry above all else. So Rakhmonov by submission to get him to 8 knockouts and 8 submissions on his record. That is a terrible bet. That is 3.75, so you're getting better than even money. That is just an awful, awful bet. Yeehaw. Yeah, I'm all over that. Then the next fight that I'm going to be looking at, we'll see the return of Mr. Nurmagomedov. Yes, that is right. Umar Nurmagomedov is back, baby. He is back, and he's back at 135 pounds. This breakdown is exclusively for my Patreon, so please go over and check out the Patreon if you want to see the breakdown for this fight, Umar Nurmagomedov against Nate Maines. So then we'll move on to the main event. The main event, Arman Tsarukyan versus Mateusz Gamrot. This is a really fun fight. These two guys are absolutely... I mean, the lightweight division is stacked. Let's not pretend it isn't. But these two guys are absolute killers. Now, for me, this is a really interesting fight because both men, they're true mixed martial artists. Now, I would give Tsarukyan the slight edge in the wrestling. I would. I think that from top position, Tsarukyan is probably the slightly more dangerous fighter. When you see those elbows that he landed on... I forget what his bloody name was. Spanish fella. I've completely forgotten what his name was. Let's have a look. What did I take that as? Joel Alvarez. Joel Alvarez. Savage ground and pound. It was the one, right? Because I always remember the fights more than I remember the names of the people that were in them. But it was the one where basically he landed this real short elbow, just kind of like from mount, just clipped him, and it just busted him just like at the top of his nose. Blood went everywhere. There was so much blood in that fight. Go back and watch Joel Alvarez versus Arman Tsarukyan. You'll see what I mean. When I say vicious ground and pound, I mean vicious ground and pound. It is savage. So from top position, I just don't think that you want to let Arman Tsarukyan on top of you. But look, for me, Gamrot, he's no slouch when it comes to the grappling himself. From a top position, Gamrot can be just as dangerous, honestly. And his submissions, I think that Gamrot probably has better submissions than Tsarukyan has. And Gamrot, he gets takedowns very well because he attacks very low. You'll see here. I'll show you what I mean. He attacks the legs really low on the legs, and he gets those ankle pick takedowns. But he keeps his head out of danger, and he just follows through. He chain wrestles really, really well, and when he gets you to like that kind of position, he's really good at working through the transitions and getting those submissions. His submissions are really very, very good. Gamrot's also, I would give him a slight edge in the striking as well. He's taller. I don't think he has the reach, but let me just double check that. So Gamrot, you've got 70-inch reach and Tsarukyan 70. Okay, so look, Tsarukyan has the reach, but actually Gamrot has the height. And Gamrot, when you watch him, he has a really good 1-2 combination, just like that lets him keep that kind of length. And I do feel like Gamrot's probably going to have, he's going to have a slight edge in the striking, I would give him. Although, for me, Tsarukyan's probably going to have a slight edge in the power because he's just a very compact kind of fighter that generates just a lot of power, especially with his kicks as well. You need to watch out for those. Honestly, both of these guys are dangerous from so many different areas. It's kind of ridiculous. So it's difficult. This one's so hard to pick. It really is. And with it being this hard to pick, for me, when you see that Gamrot is like a 350 underdog just to win, I'm kind of tempted by that. I kind of feel like I have to go with the underdog in this one. I'm not saying that Tsarukyan can't. Obviously he can. Because as I said, for me, Oh no, this one's a coin flip. If anything, if I'm making an argument for Gamrot to win this, I would say that Gamrot probably has slightly more ways to win the fight, because his submissions are slightly better. I'll give him a slight edge in the striking, maybe not in the power, but I think he has more ways to win it. So for me, over 5 rounds, I think that he finds the finish. If he's going to win this one, I think that he's more than capable of finishing it. And you're getting 4.50. That's 9-2 on Gamrot. Double chance to get the finish. There is value in that bet at the very least. So that is what I'm going with. 9-2 on the finish anytime for Gamrot. Over 5 rounds, I think that he can fight it. But I mean, honestly, tune into that fight. I know that they're not necessarily two fighters that jump off the page in terms of like, oh wow, everyone knows who they are, because a lot of people don't. I mean, I'd heard of them. I had to do a bit of research into them, but I did remember the Sarukian fight because I just remember because of all the blood. I remember watching it, going, "Oh my good god!" So that's where I remembered Sarukian from, and yeah, these guys, they're arguably the future of the lightweight division. It's a stacked division, but these guys are absolute killers, and they're going to put on a really good show potentially on Saturday night. So if you have a chance to watch it, I would implore you to do so. So anyway, as I said earlier, I do like to put these bets down as a kind of terrible scratch card. So I'll put all of my choices down on one bet. So you've got the submission for Rakhmonov to get him to 8 KOs and 8 submissions. And then you have got the submission round 1 for Umar Nurmagomedov. And then, as I just said, Gamrot to get the finish, any means necessary. Putting all that onto a bet slip, you've got 59.06. That is just awful. Terrible. Terrible bet. Don't go anywhere near it. Anyway, that's all I've got time for. I'm gonna recap the event and go into the news and everything on my Tuesday/Wednesday show, depending on what my stand-up schedule is like. And yeah, just thank you for watching. If you do me a favour and just like and subscribe, that would be absolutely fantastic. Let me know in the comments, who are you betting on? I want to see your accumulators. I love seeing people put their accumulators together. And whatever your accumulators are, I wish them all the luck in the world. I hope you make some money on the event. And yeah, until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.